Hey everyone, it's Adam from the Army Painter here. Today we're going to teach you how to assemble just about any model or miniature, whether it's plastic, resin, pewter, you name it, using the tools and accessories from the Army Painter range. Let's get right to it. I have a plastic Man-at-Arms sprue from our friends at Parabellum War Games, and we're going to be using this to showcase how to assemble a plastic miniature. Now, it's really important to keep in mind that some of the tools that we're going to be using are very sharp and can be quite dangerous for younger hobbyists. So if you are a little hobby grom at home, be sure to ask your parents for their supervision. I always recommend using a self-healing cutting mat like we have here. If you flip this one over, it actually doubles as a nice photo backdrop. This will help to protect whatever you have underneath, whatever your workspace underneath is. Using a pair of plastic frame cutters or our precision side cutters, go ahead and carefully clip out the bits off the sprue that you want to use for assembly. Using your hobby knife, go ahead and remove any of the flash left over from the sprue. You can also use the side of a blade to scrape off any unsightly mold lines. Our miniature model files are also handy tools to help with mold line removal and really smoothing out those details. When assembling plastic models, we recommend using our plastic glue. That's because it creates a very strong chemical bond between the pieces that you are adhering together. Also, it doesn't stick to your fingers. To open up the nozzle, very gently and carefully insert a fine pin inside, just like so. Simply apply a small amount of our plastic glue to the areas that you'd like to adhere. Place the two pieces together. I like to just move them around to make sure we get nice even coverage of that plastic glue for a super strong bond. Wait about 10 seconds and the model will be secure. For smaller pieces, you can use any one of our hobby tweezers for precise application. While plastic is easily one of the most popular materials in the miniature and hobby world, resin and metal miniatures like pewter are still widely available. We're going to be assembling a resin miniature. This one is Sister Urian de Grant from our friends at Raging Heroes. A really cool sculpt, by the way. Now, assembling resin and metal miniatures is very similar, so you could just substitute the same techniques and applications between resin or metal depending on what you're building. It's very important with resin or metal miniatures to clean them with lukewarm soapy water. This helps to remove any of the releasing agents used when casting the miniature. If you don't, your primer and paint will have a very difficult time adhering to the surface of the model, and it can make assembly harder than it needs to be. Much like assembling a plastic miniature, you'll cut, clean, and file the miniature. One additional step that we recommend is to lightly sand the joints where the model pieces come together. This will help to create a more secure bond when you glue it together. While plastic glue is the king of plastic miniature assembly, super glue is the king when it comes to assembling resin or metal miniatures. And now that you have the basics of assembling a miniature, we're going to move on to some more advanced techniques. Right now we're going to talk about how to magnetize your miniature. Whether you're building the model in subparts for ease of travel or magnetize it so you can swap weapons and stay WYSIWYG for your next game, magnetizing can be a hobbyist's best friend. If you want to get really fancy, you can use a hobby drill to drill ports to place the magnets inside, or very simply Greenstuff or super glue the magnets to the pieces that you intend to magnetize. Pinning is a technique that is used to strengthen the bond between two pieces of a miniature. This can be extremely useful for heavier miniatures or even more fragile pieces. Using your hobby drill and a paper clip that I am using here, what you're going to do is you're going to begin by drilling a hole into the first piece of the miniature like so. Apply a small dab of super glue to the hole that you just drilled out and insert your paper clip or metal rod like so. Give that a few minutes to dry nice and secure. You can press the pin into the secondary piece just to leave a guide mark like so. And then go ahead and begin to drill out on the second piece. Once you're finished, go ahead and apply glue all over the piece. Remember, we're using super glue here. All over the piece that you want to adhere. Go ahead and insert the pin into the secondary hole and press the two together until you have a nice firm bond. Greenstuff is a fantastic multi-purpose product that can help create strong joints or fill large gaps. It's also a sculptor's dream. Knead a ball of the yellow and blue stuff to create a slow-drying two-part epoxy. This is your Greenstuff. Roll this out into a thin strip and apply it to any gaps left by the seams. Use your sculpting tool to smooth out the bonded joint and let it dry. You can also use Greenstuff much like you would a pin to help secure tricky adhesion points in combination with superglue. Once your model is finished, you can base it to fit the theme of the rest of your army. For newer hobbyists, I highly recommend our Battlefields basing kit, as it has everything you need to get started in the world of basing. All right, now that you've assembled your miniature, whether it was plastic, metal, or resin, you're ready to move on to the next step, and that's going to be priming your model and preparing it for paint. In the next part of this how-to series, we're going to teach you everything that you need to know about our color primer sprays.